Want to make someone think of you constantly using just your mind. I often say life is like a game, and every game has its hidden strategies. Now, people might chuckle when you suggest you can influence someone's thoughts without a single text or phone call, but I assure you, the unseen forces are always more powerful than the visible. The mind knows no limits, and pure thought, that's your direct, wireless message, sent from your spirit, straight to theirs. Years ago, I was heartbroken when a dear friend simply disappeared. No calls, no messages, no goodbyes. My heart ached, but I knew begging for their physical return was futile. Instead, I turned to the secret method I now share, mental telepathy, guided by universal principles. Each evening, I'd sit peacefully by my window, hands gently clasped, and whisper into the air, "Wherever you are, feel my happiness, hear my laughter, remember the sparkle in my eyes. Let the energy of my affection reach you like a forgotten melody." I didn't demand, I didn't plead. I simply projected a mental picture, infused with calm and certainty, trusting that spirit connects where words fail. Within a week, he reappeared, unprompted, unpressured. "I couldn't stop thinking about you," he said. "It was like your voice echoed in my mind." You see, my dear friends, the power of mental telepathy isn't about manipulation. It's about magnetic alignment. When your mind aligns with a clear, positive intention, it becomes like a beacon, and others are drawn to you, often without understanding why. But be warned, this principle works both ways. If your thoughts are consumed by worry, obsession, or desperation, you're broadcasting distress signals, and those, too, will be received. The other person's subconscious reacts not to your words, but to your underlying energy. So, the first rule is simple. Think only what you wish to experience. I've always said, whatever someone feels deeply or pictures clearly is imprinted on the subconscious mind and unfolds in every tiny detail. Therefore, if you want to be remembered, you must envision it as already happening, and your thoughts must be calm, certain, and full of life. Let me share from my own journey. I wasn't always so confident. In my early days, as a struggling artist and a woman in a world that valued logic over intuition, I was often overlooked. Opportunities were missed, doors remained closed, but I began to experiment with my mind. I imagined collectors buying my art, students eager to learn from me, a room full of attentive listeners, yearning for truth. I wrote on small cards, "My art is celebrated worldwide. My voice brings comfort. My words are remembered forever." And I spoke these affirmations into the ethers daily, with love and unwavering belief. In time, every word materialized, not through charm or force, but because thoughts are tangible, and the spiritual realm responds when you speak its language. So, if you truly want someone to think of you, without chasing or begging, here's what to do. Sit still, breathe deeply, see yourself in your full glory, radiant, cherished, magnetic, and from that elevated place, send out your thought. "You are remembering me now." You feel my energy and smile, then release it. Let go, it's done. To chase someone is to declare you're lacking, but to project from your spiritual power is to declare, "I already am." And that, my dear friends, is the secret Florence always lived, though she rarely shouted it. The average person believes their thoughts are private, small, silent things that disappear once spoken or left unsaid. But I tell you, a thought is a living energy. It doesn't vanish, it travels, it builds. It knocks on the door of the subconscious mind and echoes through unseen dimensions. The telepathic power of thought is real and operates under universal law, whether one understands it or not. You are constantly broadcasting. You might think you're idle, but the universe never sleeps, and your mind, like a telegraph wire, is perpetually sending out signals. This isn't speculation. It's spiritual law. What you hold in your mental space, you transmit into the ethers. And those vibrations, strong or weak, confident or chaotic, are picked up by minds most receptive to you. This is how you make someone think of you telepathically. You don't force the connection through physical actions. You command it through your energetic vibration. Telepathy and manifestation aren't separate processes. They're partners in the same unseen dance. Every time you think of someone with focused feeling, you create an invisible bridge between your minds. But most people undermine their own message. They believe a scattered thought here, a doubtful word there, means nothing. Yet, The law responds with absolute precision. The other person's subconscious picks up the dominant impression you're carrying. If you think, "Why haven't they called me? Why are they silent?" then that worry is the message you telepathically send, and in response, they sense distance, resistance, discomfort. They may not know why, but your fearful vibration tells them to keep their distance. If you truly wish for someone to think of you constantly using telepathy, you must become profoundly deliberate with your thoughts. You must compose them like a musician, carefully choosing notes. The words you think carry an emotional charge, and it's this emotional quality, not just the content, that attracts. Joyful thoughts draw joyful responses. Thoughts of love bring back thoughts of love, but anxious thoughts transmit static and confusion. To master the art of mental telepathy, speak only what you desire to receive. If you want to be remembered, imagine yourself already cherished in their mind. Say silently, "I am remembered with warmth. I am thought of often. My presence gracefully lingers in their spirit." Do not wish, yearn, or plead. These are low vibrations. Telepathy works only when the signal is clear and unwavering, and what clarifies the signal is certainty, peace, and spiritual conviction. Spiritual telepathy techniques begin with stillness. You must calm the waters of your mind, for a disturbed mind cannot transmit clearly. Sit in silence. Breathe deeply. Let go of any thoughts of needing or grasping. Then, bring to mind the image of the person you wish to connect with, not to control them, but to send a divine reminder of your presence. Telepathic communication is not manipulation. It's a spiritual connection between two energies meeting in harmony. Once the image is clear, feel what you would like them to feel when they think of you. If it's love, then feel love yourself. If it's joy, then fill your mind with joy. And as you feel it, speak silently. "You are thinking of me now. My essence effortlessly visits your thoughts." Then release the thought. Do not cling to it. Do not revisit it in fear. The release is as vital as the sending. That is faith. That is confidence in the unseen forces. This method does not fail. But people fail the method. They doubt, they worry, they plant the seed, then unearth it by questioning if it's working. But divine law doesn't need your constant monitoring. It requires your absolute knowing. In telepathic attraction, the rule is, state the outcome, and the means will appear. You don't need to figure out how the thought will reach them or how they will respond. You only need to know that it will. For the mind is more potent than any physical message. Manifesting someone's attention through mental telepathy is the work of the wise. The emotional energy you hold is the frequency you broadcast. And that frequency travels without limit. It may cross time. It may cross distance, but it does not fail. The mind, when focused on a target, becomes a spiritual transmitter. Those with spiritual awareness can feel when they are being thought of, and even the unaware find their thoughts gently influenced by the impressions sent their way. If you wish to be unforgettable in someone's mind, then become unforgettable in your own. See yourself as memorable, magnetic, magnificent. The way you perceive yourself is the message you are sending. The law of assumption supports this. You must assume the thought has already landed. You are already present in their consciousness, that they think of you even now and smile. This is the divine wireless, mental imagery and emotion wrapped in intention. A thought filled with faith, guided by joy, and released with peace becomes irresistible. That is the secret. That is the science. And once you grasp it, you will never again try to reach for someone in the outer world. You will first go to the inner world, and from there, direct the unseen. For it is always the unseen that moves. The seen, the spoken word has its power, but it is the emotion behind the word that gives it wings. A thought alone may flutter, but a thought infused with feeling becomes a divine arrow sent directly to its target. In the invisible realm where telepathic communication occurs, it is not just the message but the emotional force behind it that determines whether it is received, believed, or forgotten. If you want to influence someone's mind through spiritual telepathy, you must understand that thought is the blueprint, but emotion is the energy that brings it to life. This is the sacred current that powers the law of attraction, telepathy. Without emotion, your thoughts are like unposted letters. They remain at the desk of the mind, unsent and unread. But when you charge them with pure, confident, radiant feeling, they travel swiftly and reach the subconscious of the one you are thinking about. There are those who practice mental telepathy techniques without results. and they wonder why the mind seems unresponsive. It's because they treat thought like a machine. They recite affirmations without conviction. They visualize without sensation. They speak mental words, but their emotional state remains cold, passive, or doubtful. And so, the message, though clear in its outline, never reaches its destination. The essence of the message is lost. To make someone think about you constantly using telepathy, you must first become magnetic in your own emotional field. If you wish to be remembered, then you must feel as if you are already cherished. The emotional tone of your thought becomes the signal. Think of it as a frequency. When your thought is filled with love, peace, or joy, it vibrates at a high rate and finds its match in the consciousness of the one you wish to connect with. But if your thought is laced with fear, longing, or desperation, that signal too will be received. And what does it draw back? Resistance, silence, unease, for emotion cannot lie. The subconscious, both yours and theirs, hears what the conscious mind tries to conceal. That is why I say, do not beg in thought, do not send out frantic messages, hoping to be noticed. Instead, send out love, certainty, and harmony. These are the emotions that attract. When practicing telepathic attraction, always begin by setting your emotional atmosphere. You wouldn't send a precious letter without sealing it properly. So too must your thought be sealed with the emotion you wish to create. If you wish to be thought of fondly, then feel fondness within yourself. If you wish to create a romantic pull, then feel romantic energy in your body, mind, and aura. This is how you charge the message. Now, emotion is not the same as drama. We don't stir up chaos. We cultivate a quiet intensity, a sacred sincerity. It may be as gentle as gratitude or as passionate as yearning, as long as it is rooted in power, and not powerlessness. The subconscious mind telepathy you seek to activate listens to the mood more than the message. The tone is the truth. As you sit in stillness, imagining the one you wish to reach, begin not with words, but with emotional alignment. Close your eyes and breathe in the sensation of being known, seen, and deeply considered. Let that feeling rise within you like light. Then, once it fills you, speak your message mentally. Speak it not from emptiness, but from fullness. Say silently, "You are thinking of me now. You feel my presence and smile." Hold the emotional energy as you speak it. See the image of yourself in their mind's eye. Imagine them receiving your thought with warmth and wonder. This is manifesting someone to think about you using telepathy, not by force, but by resonance. You are not invading their mind. You are inviting their attention. You are setting the table and trusting that their soul will feel drawn to dine. Never underestimate the power of a single thought charged with pure feeling. Just as a prayer spoken with deep faith moves mountains, so does a thought filled with unwavering emotion move the unseen chords of connection. The emotion is the current. It carries the message across the vast ocean of the invisible. This is why consistency matters. You cannot send love one day and fear the next. You must train your emotional body like a diligent caretaker of energy. The more stable your vibration, the more reliable your signal. And in time, as you practice with devotion, you will find the one you think of beginning to reach out, perhaps without even knowing why. They may say, "You've been on my mind lately." That is no coincidence. That is the silent power of your charged emotion at work. In the sacred art of telepathic manifestation, your emotions are not adversaries to be controlled, but instruments to be finely tuned. Tune them to peace, to joy, to love, to fulfillment, and observe how others respond. The mind is the tool, but the heart is the engine. Thought points the way, but emotion takes you there. To become unforgettable in the mind of another, you must first become emotionally unforgettable in your own. Let your thoughts be bathed in the light of your feeling. Let every mental word be adorned with the beauty of certainty. And the one you think of will receive it, not as an echo, but as a presence they cannot ignore. Everything originates from the image held in your mind. Imagination is not a trivial pastime. It is the birthplace of all manifestation. What you consistently visualize in your mental theater becomes what you experience on the stage of the world. The unseen pictures you form govern not only your personal life but also how others react to you. It is through mental imagery that we forge connections, create impressions, and attract attention, affection, and recognition. If you desire to be remembered, thought of, or even adored, you must first become vividly real within your own imagination. No amount of outward effort can compensate for an inner image of scarcity, invisibility, or rejection. You may speak eloquently, dress beautifully, or perform dutifully, but if the mental picture you carry is one of being overlooked, dismissed, or forgotten, the world will mirror that image back to you. That is the unchanging law of mental imagery manifestation. The subconscious mind accepts the pictures you paint within as commands, not suggestions. It doesn't analyze, it doesn't edit. It receives impressions and acts upon them with complete obedience, and the minds of others, especially those you wish to reach, respond to the vibration of your dominant image. This is how manifesting someone's attention through visualization becomes a living science. The image you hold of yourself in their life becomes the blueprint from which interactions are built. So, if you aim to make someone think about you telepathically, you must not only send thought, you must construct a clear, magnetic picture of yourself in their world. This image must be strong, joyful, emotionally vibrant, and repeated often. It must not be a vague wish or a fleeting hope, but a divine portrait framed in certainty. See yourself smiling, speaking effortlessly, receiving their attention. See them remembering you, thinking of you, feeling drawn to you. Picture it until it feels natural, until it becomes so real in your imagination that you no longer question its truth. Every time you revisit this mental image, you are feeding it with spiritual substance. You are nurturing the unseen seed. If you change the picture to one of doubt, sorrow, or frustration, you uproot the seed. You disrupt the creative process. That is why mental discipline is crucial. What you see in your mental mirror must remain consistent with what you wish to receive in the outer world. Telepathic attraction relies not only on thought and emotion but on continuity of imagery. A thought may spark interest, but a sustained image maintains connection. Those who use visualization techniques to attract someone's attention must learn to paint with clarity and feel with precision. Let your mental pictures be detailed. Where are you? What do you feel? What expressions are shared? Let it come alive, not as fantasy, but as a spiritual rehearsal. Imagination is the divine instrument through which the unseen becomes seen. It is not a child's game but a sacred function of the creative spirit. When you create a mental image of connection, you are not manipulating another's will. You are simply opening the door in consciousness and allowing universal law to do the rest. There is no need to chase or plead when the image is clear and emotionally charged. To manifest love telepathically, begin by embodying the version of yourself that is already loved. This is why some people become unforgettable. They have unknowingly fixed a strong mental image of connection, confidence, or charm, and others respond to that frequency, picking up on it through subconscious telepathic communication. You can do the same, deliberately and joyfully, by taking time each day to dwell in your chosen image of reality. No detail is too small, for the subconscious notices everything. When you are tempted to think of scarcity, of being forgotten or ignored, stop immediately and return to your inner picture. Do not allow outward appearances to erase the image you've built. The outer world is a delayed reflection. It shows you what you used to believe, but your present image is your future experience. Keep it bright, clear, and powerful. In manifestation through visualization, repetition is the great multiplier. The more you revisit the image, the faster it begins to shape the reality around you. Combine it with faith and feeling, and you possess the trinity of creation, thought, emotion, and imagery. Together, they awaken the creative force within and send out a beacon that cannot be denied. Let your inner vision be the prophecy of your outer world. When you see yourself as desired, remembered, and cherished, and when that vision becomes more real than your current circumstances, you have mastered the law. You are now operating from the inside out, and the one you wish to reach, the one whose mind you hope to touch, will feel your presence without a word spoken. It is not magic but spiritual law. Your mental image is your declaration to the universe, and the universe always responds. It may come through a message, a glance, a thought from them to you, but it will come. For what is consistently imagined with belief is always made manifest. The power that governs all things is spiritual. It does not yield to worry, pleading, or desperation. It responds only to certainty. Those who grasp divine law do not chase, they command. They do not beg for attention. They embody attraction. To manifest someone's attention through telepathy, you must first awaken to your own spiritual authority. That is the true source of influence, not words, not appearance, not action, but the vibration of knowing. When you plead, you declare to the universe that you are lacking. When you beg for someone to remember you, you are affirming that you are forgotten, and by law, what you affirm, you receive. Every act of mental desperation broadcasts a signal of unworthiness. It is not the person who begs who is remembered, but the one who radiates. Begging is noise, authority is resonance. To practice telepathic manifestation, you must leave behind the lower realm of need and ascend to the higher realm of knowing. Thought, when charged with spiritual confidence, becomes a decree. It carries weight. It moves unseen forces. When you say, I am remembered, and believe it is already true, your vibration changes, your inner world shifts, and the outer begins to reflect it. This is the difference between magnetic influence and mental resistance. Many try to influence others using telepathic techniques but do so from a state of fear. They project thoughts like, please think of me, or why haven't they reached out, not realizing these thoughts come wrapped in anxiety. The subconscious mind does not obey the words, it obeys the feeling, and the feeling of lack creates more lack. But when you realize that you are the source, that all attraction begins within, your entire method changes. You no longer try to pull someone toward you. You radiate from a place of inner fulfillment. You stop acting as if they hold the power. You remember that you are the magnetic center, and what belongs to you comes to you by divine right, gracefully and perfectly. To attract someone mentally using telepathy, sit in stillness and see yourself as already thought of. Feel the inner certainty that your essence is remembered. Say inwardly, they are thinking of me now. My presence is alive in their awareness. Do not reach outward, reach inward. And from that place of certainty, project the thought. You are not sending a request, you are sending a vibration. You are not asking them to think of you. You are affirming that they already are. In this spiritual work, you do not ask for what you want, you claim it. You do not knock on the door of their attention. You appear in their mind because your vibration has entered their atmosphere. This is the essence of subconscious telepathic communication. The message that is born in spiritual authority is the one that is received. Those who practice telepathic attraction with true understanding do not wonder if it is working. They do not repeat the thought with effort. They send it once, knowing that it is heard. Just as a royal decree is spoken once and fulfilled without hesitation, so too must your mental decree be spoken with finality. The one who doubts delays their own good. Spiritual confidence is not arrogance. It is alignment with truth. It is the quiet power of one who knows their word is law. When you know you are magnetic, you do not need to force. When you know you are loved, you do not need to chase. When you know your energy is felt, you do not need to prove. The law works not by begging, but by belief. Manifesting someone's attention using mental telepathy is not about controlling another's mind. It is about aligning with your own divine presence. You do not need to alter their thoughts. You need only to become so aligned with the vision of being remembered that it becomes your reality. From this spiritual stance, you become a beacon. The thought you send out is felt. The vibration you hold becomes irresistible. It is not the loudest thought that wins. It is the most certain. Seek only from the mountaintop. Do not descend into valleys of doubt. When you say, I am chosen, I am remembered, I am thought of often, say it not as hope but as truth. Let your vibration match the vision. If you imagine yourself as forgotten, overlooked, or cast aside, you are casting that spell upon yourself. But if you imagine yourself as unforgettable, magnetic, ever present in the mind of another, the law will fulfill your vision. Use visualization techniques for attraction from this higher realm. Do not picture yourself waiting, longing, or yearning. Picture yourself centered, calm, fulfilled, and felt. Imagine their mind filled with thoughts of you not because you asked, but because your energy speaks louder than words. This is the unseen power of spiritual authority. It does not knock, it walks. When you stop acting like the outsider, the inner door is opened. When you stop chasing love and start emanating it, love responds. The one you think of begins to think of you, not from persuasion, but from reflection. They begin to feel your presence, not because you called them, but because you remembered who you are. Stand in your spiritual power. Speak from the throne of your own consciousness. You are not at the mercy of others' thoughts. You are the author of your vibration. You are the sender of the signal. And what you send out in truth, with calm conviction, always returns multiplied. The game of life is won not by chance, nor by force, but by consciousness. You do not beg for connection. You assume it. You do not chase thoughts. You project them. You do not wonder if they think of you. You know they do. For what you see in the silence, feel with certainty, and declare with faith shall appear before you, fully realized. You are not a servant to the visible world. You are a speaker of invisible law. Every thought is a seed, every emotion a charge, every image a decree, and every belief a magnet. You are the sender and the receiver, the message and the messenger. And the moment you step into your divine knowing, the world responds. Speak your word, feel your truth, see your vision, and release it to the ethers, not in desperation, but in dominion. For the soul that walks with spiritual authority need not be remembered. They are unforgettable.